Yo, what's going on, guys? Mavis, Nick, Adam, Juan, Scythe, Sea Blast, what's going on? Erica, how you doing? Eddie, David, how you doing? I did have a good weekend. How was your weekend? Tim's, what's going on? Ben, how you doing? Everyone, if you could drop a like, appreciate that. It definitely helps. Lexites, how you doing? Anyone do anything good this weekend? PW, how you doing? J Paul, what's up, man? The dashboard, I have a video on it linked in the market resources section. The green and red indicator is the BT cloud. You just go to indicators and type in BT cloud. And then it tells you, you know, a little description. If you want to read that. Drop a like if you can, sub. What's up, Bob? How you doing? Cultra, Tom, Keith, what's going on? Any potential setups for the challenge tomorrow? We'll see how the market opens. You know, this is my list that I have that I'm keeping a close eye on for tomorrow. I'm gonna go over this in a bit. We'll see what the market presents us. All right, looking at futures here. Everything's about even. So Hamza asks, can you explain how your weekly watch list works? So my watch list, this is like the top setups that I'm watching for the week. All these trades I have planned already, right? I always preach plan the trade and trade the plan. It's the only way you're going to be successful in trading. Still have a bunch more people coming in. Right, so I have all these trades planned out, right, with you know, setups and everything. And these are what I watch the closest, right? It's not limited to just these. I also keep the dashboard open, and I make sure, you know, I take a look at all the flow and the unusual flow that comes through. Add HD. Why is HD gonna run this week, Erica? Yeah, everything's about even currently, futures. But SPY, right, we're kind of flagging here. We had our first move up, consolidation right below this previous double top here, right? So we have one top, two top, and right, we rejected again and again. So this is very, very typical after a move to the upside, right? Large move to the upside, consolidation before our next move up. So I'm bullish still. As long as we hold this low here, can delete that, go into the higher time frame. Right, previously we rejected here, right? So if we go across, we're just chopping through this zone, right? We have one area of resistance, an area of support, an area of support again, and then we chopped, and now we're chopping again. So we need to break this region here, about 450 to 454. So if this level can break, right, you're going to want to wait, and you know, we need to break this double top. Need to break that double top. But market could be setting up very nicely. Let's take a look at the daily candles. All right, so we have an inside close. We closed within this mother candle, it's called. So, you know, definitely keep an eye on that. All right, if we break this top here, 450.69, we should see a push up to this high here, which is 457, a 7-point move, almost an 8-point move, which would be massive. All right, EMAs are consolidating. Price action is getting tighter and tighter. So, you know, we potentially could see a pretty big move this week, and I'm ready to catch it if we do. All right, 1 hour looks pretty good. Clean line of resistance. If this breaks, I'm going to take calls through this level here, 450.69. Make sure you guys drop a like. Do you wait for order flow to confirm entry, or do you enter just based on a setup? So chart is definitely king. I always follow the chart, but when I see flow come through the tape, it makes me that much more confident in the setup. Right? You can definitely follow, you know, some specific sweeps or trades that come through the tape, but right, not everything, not all those unusual options activities, sweeps and trades are going to work. Right, it could be part of a spread, it could be a hedge, it could be a bunch of different things. So I like to find the best setups technically, right? I like to trade the price action, and I use flow as confirmation. Right, so unusual options activity is basically volume, which is why, you know, I rarely look at the volume down low here. I use unusual options activity as my volume indicator, basically. Right, everyone has a different strategy. There's a million different strategies that you can use to trade the markets, and you know, you just gotta tone it and figure out what works best for you. And you know, that's what works best for me. So I'll continue to do that. So SPY looks pretty good though. If we can break this 450.69 level, we should see a push up. Very welcome. This is TradingView. Webull, I mean, you know, Webull doesn't have the best best charting in my opinion. No specific time frame. There's not like one specific time frame that's best in my opinion. I just filter through all, and you know, what looks best to my eye is what I use. QQQ, right? We have a nice wedge here. We have a triple bottom at the close, right? 1 bounce, 2 bounce, and 3. So this needs to hold. This doesn't hold, we should see a move down to this level here, right? 345.58. And then if that doesn't hold, we should see a push down to around this low here. Okay. But QQQ looks pretty good. I think we could see a nice pop this week. We finally broke this overall downtrend. Right, so we were in a downtrend. We rejected multiple times across this level, pushed the upside, and now we're retesting this previous support. Acted as a resistance multiple times, right? Once, twice, and 3 times. Right, we bounced off of it again, and now we're sitting right above this zone here. So this level, right? If we also take a look at the VPVR, this region right here should act as a support. So we should see a potential move back up. right? This is the perfect pattern for that to happen. So that's exactly what I'm watching for. I do have a video of how to use the dashboard. It's in the market resources section of the Discord. IWM, not my favorite. Can rechart it. All right, nothing really too special here. We kind of broke this low here, right? So we had multiple areas of support, and then we gapped down below and then used it as a resistance. So IWM doesn't look too good. You know, you could play puts through 196.68 and aim for, you know, around this region here. That would be my price target. All right, 196.68, you take puts and you look for 193 to around 191. This region right here, right? Previous support, previous support. That's how I would play that. VIX. So I entered VIX calls actually on Friday, I think. Why did I enter VIX calls, right? So let's take a look at the daily first. Right, so we have this level of support here, right? Once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 and 6, right? So multiple times we bounced off this level here. If we take a look at the overall chart, this level holds almost at every single time. All right, so what I was looking for, we also have a falling wedge here. Right, if we go to the smaller time frame, right, we have a perfect falling wedge. So this previous support acted as a resistance, right? A little fake out to the downside before a potential move to the upside. I'm looking for 24.78. If this goes up, that means SPY and QQQ and the whole market's going to go down. So it's possible. If this triple bottom breaks, right, like I said before, and this bottom breaks as well, VIX should go to 25 plus. So kind of like a hedge, but it's a high risk, high reward play, which is why I like it. I like the risk to reward. Right, stop loss is below here, right around that region. We entered around here, and the price target's up here. Great risk to reward. Tick, something to watch, add to your watch list. If you're not familiar with how to use it, we're adding a tick bot to the Discord. Every time it hits like a certain level, it shows how many stocks in the New York Stock Exchange are green as opposed to red. So 346 currently we're green. I can make a video on it and go more in depth, but I'm not going to really cover that right now. Just something interesting to mention. Maybe you guys could do your own research in the meantime, and then I'll make a video on it. So let's see, ask me questions, guys. I like answering the questions. Financials, I could check that out a little bit later after I cover my watch list. Moderna, it's been in an overall downtrend for like a year, right? Like this is typically not something I would ever look at. And it also rejected, right? I haven't looked at this in months, and right, I have this line here, right? We rejected once, rejected twice, acted as a support. Take a look at what happened here, right? We rejected it again and rejected it again. So this is definitely something I would not trade unless we break, you know, around this top here, right? And look for a move to around 188. And then if this level breaks, right, I have my alert set already. Do I like long walks on the beach? No, I don't. Definitely not. Maybe if someone pushes me in a chair. Anything right here I'll be covering. So if you see a ticker over here and you want me to chart it, I'm going to be going over it anyway. But ask me questions, not chart requests. But in the meantime, AMD, what I'm looking at here, it's super interesting where we're at. Right, we have 1 bottom, 2 bottom, 3, and now we're approaching it for a 4th time. Take a look at where we're at. I mean, that's crazy, right? Rejected once, bottomed, and right, multiple times this level has held. So this level that we're at now needs to hold. But I like how this price action is consolidating. Right, we're creating like a wedge here. Right, if I inverse this, it's a rising wedge. Right, so if this level breaks, right around there, right around 99.26, this level breaks, you could take right to the upside, but this is the inverse. But puts is way more favorable in that, in this case, which is calls. Right, calls has a huge upside here. Trying to read the comments. Yeah, I have a very monotone voice. McDonald's I'm covering. I have it on my watch list already. I never use RSI. I strictly trade off price and unusual options activity. It took me about 2 years to fully understand charting. How do you decide which strike price to choose? I always go based off my targets. So for example, on SPY here, right, if I enter at 450.69, the strike price I pick is going to be something I think can go in the money, right? So I would take about a 455 call, right? Because my target is in this region up here, the highlighted section. My target is going to be this region here, and I want my call to go in the money eventually. And I want, you know, some security, and I also want a good risk to reward. So I'm going to go out of the money, typically about 10 to 20%. That's just my opinion. Sector strength, for sure. You know, I always keep an eye on. I always keep an eye on this. I have a sector watch list here. I always keep an eye on it. Right, I have all of them here. Energy, financials, industrial, utilities, technology, healthcare, consumer staples, you know, all the above. I always keep an eye on those. I could share this if you guys want me to. Let me post it in the chat here for you. So you should be able to copy that. Should be able to copy that, I think. Let me get back to some of these questions. RSI don't use. Strike price covered. Charting about 2 years. When you're charting trends on candles that have long wicks, what part are you using for the trend? Doesn't really matter. Sometimes I use the top wick, sometimes I don't. Right, it's really there's no science to it. Everyone does it differently. What strike would I take on AMD? So if like this level breaks here, you know, enter around that candle, right? A little double top there, 102. I'll look for like this around a 106 call, 105 call, right in this region, right? Previous support turned into a new resistance. So I'll look for a break of around 105, 106, and you know, potentially this can go to 110, right around this region here. Right, previous support, previous resistance, acted as a new resistance again. How do I analyze bonds? I never check bonds, ever. What do I think of the automated pattern recognition? I don't like relying on indicators like that, in my opinion. I like doing it myself. That way I could plan every single trade in my head and, you know, put it on the chart. Then again, it's just my opinion, and it's how I've been trading for the last few years, so maybe I'm just used to it. But if you find, you know, if you find that it helps you, you know, all power to you. If my levels break in pre-market, I just avoid it. I move on to the next setup. There's always another setup. The market's never going to go away. Options chains, I always look at generally the highest volume. Price action is just price, right? Like the candles, just the candles, right? So following patterns and support and resistances. Why do I trade out of the money instead of in the money? Out of the money offers way better reward. Risk to reward's way better. Right? With an in the money trade, you're not going to, generally, you're not going to make over 20%, you know, 50%, whatever it may be. Out of the money, you have a much higher chance of a way better reward. My most active week, about 10 to 15 trades at most. No specific time frame is best. So David actually said, took about 20% of the trades I usually take last week and it worked out. Always happens. Anytime I do a one-on-one with someone, I always tell them to trade less. Everyone's trading too much. Everyone wants to be in the action 24/7 during market open, which is a terrible idea. Right? You want to wait for the setups to come to you every single time. What confirmation do you use on a breakout? Do you wait for a retest if you miss the levels? If I miss the levels, I move on to the next setup. Simple as that. Regarding confirmation, I have a very specific plan on every single trade. So I don't need confirmation, right? Of course, that's too much in my opinion, right? I have my entry point. I have my stop loss region, right below support, and I have my price target. I buy, I sell here, and I sell here. And I also sell where IV will be the highest. Always. Right, so for example, I enter here. If we get a push to the upside, I'm going to scale out, and my stop loss region is going to be pushed up to my entry point. Now I have a risk-free trade. I scale out, I limit my risk, right? I reduce my exposure to the market, and I let the runners run up to the upside. Runners is where you make the money. What are my VPVR settings? Let me pull this up. Right, so here's the, if you want to screenshot that, inputs. I'll answer some more questions while you do that. No, I never look at futures ever. There's no point. The market's not open. I can't trade. It has no effect on my trading whatsoever. Yep. Like Mal said, do not overtrade. Do I usually take trades in the first 30 minutes or hour? It doesn't. I play the setup. I don't care what time it is. I generally trade from 9:30 to 11:30. Avoid, you know, the middle of the day, lunchtime. Price action tends to chop and move sideways and burn data. earn premium. And then I usually trade about from 130 or 2 to close. Seablaze says to keep volume greater than open interest on in one of my videos. It doesn't matter, it's personal preference. But there's a million strategies out there, guys, right? There's no specific science to it. You need to find what works best for you. There's a million strategies. I don't personally use it. I used to, right? I go back and forth. It really, it's not the biggest of my concerns. Using volume greater than open interest. It helps to identify new positions being traded, right? For sure. And it also helps limit the amount of data that you're seeing on the flow, on the tape. So it could be good for a newer trader, but I like to personally see everything. No, I never trade spreads. How do I tell when IV will be the highest? IV is highest when levels break. Right? When people are rushing to enter or exit a trade, that's when implied volatility is higher. So, also here's the style that I have. IV is highest during breaks of support and resistances, right? So, right, an area of resistance breaks, everyone enters here, and implied volatility increases the most here. Right, we have a next level of resistance. This level breaks, right? We ideally, I'll show you exactly how it works every single time, right? So we break, or we tend to chop here, right? We fake out to the downside and then move up to the upside. IV is the highest right here. Then we come back down, we retest, chop a little bit, push through, and then we end up flagging right below the next resistance point. Right, we fake out to the downside again, always, and we push back up. Right, what these fake outs are the market movers grabbing liquidity. They have an overview of the entire market. They could see everything. So what they're doing is they could see where people's stop losses are. Right, they move the market, so they fake the price out to the downside, grab as much liquidity as possible, and then move the price to the upside. That's how it works, right? And that's why 99% of retail traders lose money, because they're playing based off emotions. I go through every single chart, Leon. Every single night, I take a look at every single setup. So when I say implied volatility is highest, I don't actually look at the implied volatility percentage on the option chain. I just, I guess from trading for so long, I just know, when it's going to be highest. But it's highest when it breaks through a level. Right? You'll see when you're in a position, price spikes the most at levels of resistances and supports. Right, in between, it tends to not move as quick. So, just something to note, which is why you always want to sell when price is going in the direction of your call or put, right? So if you're in a call and it breaks, right, you want to sell when it's moving to the upside, not when it's a red candle. And you want to sell, a little bit after it breaks resistance. Yeah, entering on a pullback can totally work, for sure. I like playing breaks, it's just my strategy. I like entering before breaks, so implied volatility is the lowest. It's just my strategy. Let's go over some more setups. So Chewy. Yep, worth a shot, Tom. clean level of resistance, right? Entry point, stop loss below this region here, price target, a second price target. I use both tick and add. I just forgot to add it. So nice bull flag, falling wedge on Chewy. That's what I'm watching. Square, you know, everything is basically the same this week. Dark pool data I don't use. It was like one of the most requested features from everyone. To be honest, I don't use it. I personally find it completely irrelevant. Personally, right? My opinion. It's, first of all, it's 24 hours delayed. Right? They don't release it until 24 hours after the fact. You can use it for levels, you know, for support and resistance, but you could just see that in the chart. And second of all, you have no idea whether they're buying to the upside or to the downside, right? If they're going long or short. So, you know, personally, I never look at it ever. I think it's completely irrelevant to a day trader. Because you could just see all of it in the chart. Also to the dashboard, we added the date, right? Just to make it a little clearer. If you don't want it on there, you can just remove it. We have at bid, at ask, and above ask and below ask now. You know, another feature. And you can do out of the money calls and puts at the same time now. So I will be absolutely using both of these now. This is what I'll be using, right? Out of the money, at calls and puts, less than, you know, a week out. Sweeps only. Rearrange this. And flow. You know, it's never really same. I just, you know, do like a number, 100,000 for example. Right, and this is what I'll watch. Interesting trade here. Someone bought QQQ calls for this week, Thursday, right? Market's closed on Friday, guys. Remember that. Market is closed on Friday, excuse me. $10 out of the money for $100,000, and it's a cheap contract too, above ask. So super interesting. Just taking a look at these. Interesting. This is exactly how I'll use it. About even. The put to the call volume. If you're new here, drop a like, guys. Really appreciate it. We got about 100 people in here. I hope everyone is learning something new. Let's keep looking at these charts. So square, right, falling wedge, basically entry over 127.42. Tried to play it last week, but it didn't break out. Right, this level right here, right, rejected once. Right, rejected again, used as a support, rejected, and we bounced last week right off this level again. So needs to hold over this region around 119 to 118, and looking for a push through 127.42. That's my entry point. Have my alert set already. Chop, right, nice falling wedge right to previous support, previous resistance. So looking for a bounce right in this region for a move to the upside. Amazon, I'm going to do a speed run through these just so I can answer more questions. I find it way better Amazon, right? So take a look at where we're at. Previous support acted as a resistance, right? Bounced off of it again. Previous resistance, so we're right in this region here. It needs to hold this region, or we're going to see 30, 33, and if that fails, we're going to test around. We're going to test this high here, 29.93. But nice falling wedge. If it pushes through 31.36, I like it for calls. Right, this triple top here, right? 1, 2, and 3. If this breaks, we should get a push and fill this tiny gap here. Whatever. This little gap here. Roblox, like this too this week. Right, nice falling wedge. Right, again. Look where we're sitting at. Right, so this previous support turned into a resistance, acted as a resistance and then a support, and now we have almost a triple bottom here, and a falling wedge. Right, everything looks very similar. Tesla looks great. Definitely, you know, probably my favorite this week. I'm gonna push that up a little bit. Very clean and defined levels. Perfect falling wedge. Looking for a push over 1048, which is this little gap here, right in that region, and a nice triple bottom here. Could potentially consolidate in this area though, right around 1,000. Right, we had some chop here, a little flag before that push up to the upside. You know, so definitely just keep that in mind. But we can easily see 1115 plus. Looks good. Apple, I'm gonna push this up as well. Looks great. Perfect falling wedge. Same exact thing as Tesla, honestly. But what I like about this is, right, previous support, previous support, previous support, turn into a resistance, and it should act as a support once again, right here. Very clean wedge. Gonna look for an entry. That's my entry over 172, right? Previous support, turned into a resistance. I'm gonna enter over 172 and look for a gap fill here. And then for a push up to around 178, 179. And stop loss below. Snow I like for puts, right? Classic bear wedge. Bear flag. Right? One bottom, two bottom, multiple bottoms here, lower and lower highs. I'm in trades no longer than 20-30 minutes, which is exactly how my strategy works. Right? I like to enter before the break, and I like to scale out as it breaks. Right, I tend to have the highest reward with very little risk, you know, which is why I have a higher win rate than most traders. And then McDonald's. This is why I have it on my watch list for whoever asked. Right? Perfect levels of resistance across the board. We broke through last week. And now we're pulling back and retesting this previous resistance. Right? Previous resistance should act as a new support. And then I'm pushed to the upside. So, you know, just keep it on my watch list because it does look good. You know, definitely watch that this week. All right, I'll do some chart requests if you guys want. Walmart has seen a huge run up. It's at all-time highs. Not something I would personally trade. Right, I would rather personally wait for a retest. So, you know, not something I would trade. Right, when I look for setups, I look for very specific patterns. I trade the same thing over and over again. And if you've been following me, you'll know that. Right, there's no reason to change something that doesn't work. So I continue to trade the same setups over and over again for the last, you know, 10 years. BABA, check it out, right? So nice wedge here. We had this move to the downside, we broke out, now we're consolidating. You know, one thing I want to point out here with BABA is this triple bottom, right? One bottom, 2, 3, acted as a resistance once, twice, acted as support a bunch of times. This 110 level is pretty major, so I do like an entry over this candle here. 106.47, and it can push up to 110.44, and then if this level breaks, should see a push up around this region here. Right, so definitely pretty good. I'll add it to the watch list. I know C-Less is watching as well, but puts below this region here, but calls have a better risk to reward. E. All right, pretty nice wedge break here. All right, very clean wedge break. Next level needs to break is this candle here. Right, if this high breaks, you know, it should push through here, a little gap to fill, and it should test, you know, around 427. Nice little move. CCL, very, very choppy. All right, this is definitely not something I would trade currently. The volume been like higher in the last 10 days. Not something I would trade, no setup in my opinion. Wow. That looks beautiful. Look at that wedge. That is adding to the watch list. The more I appreciate it. That looks good. Right, so anytime I like a setup, I always plot the major levels within the region that we're at. Right, so we're approaching the bottom of this candle, the bottom of this wedge here. This 366.45 level should hold. All right, we have a previous bounce here. This is the level that should hold. If not, we'll see a move back down to 353. But that is a nice wedge. I like that a lot. Facebook. I didn't really like Facebook. There's really nothing to it. Kind of looks bearish to me if this doesn't break. All right, if this breaks, it's definitely, you know, pretty nice. Right, if this candle can break, we should see a push up around this region, but, you know, not something I would personally trade. What is the ticker for? Didn't it cost? It's not Cisco, right? That's, what's the ticker for Costco? I forgot. I thought it was cost. this is on the... I don't remember. Roblox I covered already. LMT. Yeah, it is cost. I'm not sure why it's not coming up on the Russian exchange. Whatever. Yeah, I guess something's wrong with my settings. Oh, wait. Duh. I had it clicked off. Yeah, I had this selected by accident to just the Russian exchange. I don't know why. It's so weird. A brain fart. Been a long day. Let's see. Costco's been on fire. Been an absolute tear. But not a setup I would typically trade, right? I don't like to trade these overextended. Not that I'm saying it's overextended, I guess. I guess I am, but these long run-ups, right? The risk to reward isn't my favorite, right? It does have like a little wedge here, and you could play that. Right, nice little pattern here. Pretty good. All right, and the trend is definitely in your favor. But I don't know why. I just, it's just something I've stayed away from. I'll keep an eye on it. I tend to trade the exact same patterns over and over again, right? I have a very specific system and trading plan, and I never strayed away from it, ever. Why change something that's not broken, So, great setup for sure. But I don't know why I wouldn't trade it. Hopefully that makes sense to you guys. Marvel, eh. All right, needs to hold this region here. It's approaching the bottom. Should reverse soon. HT did I cover? All right, so first thing I notice here is this area of resistance. If this cloud can flip green, it looks pretty good. Let's look where it's bouncing. All right at this low here. Right, and the previous high, right? So double top turned into support. Now acting as a double bottom. Looks pretty good. Wow, what happened to Nvidia? We had such a good falling wedge and it broke out to the downside. Big time. I wonder where we're at here. Yeah, so I would wait on Nvidia. My buy zone here, it's my buy zone's coming up for sure. Right, if we don't hold here, we're gonna probably test around 211 to 206. This region right here. Right, multiple areas of support. Let's check out financials, XLF first of all. See what it's doing. All right, just moving sideways financials. JP Morgan. All right, potentially put in a bottom here. Clean line of resistance. If this bottom can hold, we should see a push up to, you know, around this 143, 141 level. But this bottom needs to hold here. Wells Fargo, right? Same thing. Has a bottom in place. All right, 1 bounce, 2 bounce, 3. Needs to hold here, and we could test this region. These candles here. Roblox I did. All right, this area right here, triple top. Right, so something just to consider and keep an eye on. Kind of looks like it's ready to, you know, come back down and test this region here. All right, this low, this high, and these two highs right here. TSM. Right, so TSM, multiple levels of support, right? Rejected it, wouldn't touch this because, right, it looks, it's in a, the bears are winning here. NOC. Yeah, not really something I would trade. If this level holds, it could definitely push up to the highs here. Right, previous resistance, acted as a resistance all across the board here. And it needs to hold and use that as a new support. Why do trend lines work? You think resistance would be a horizontal price line? Support and resistances is just another word for supply and demand. It's where hedge funds, institutions, banks, it's where they put their buy and sell orders in. Right, they buy at levels of support and resistances. Fake outs happen because they want to get as much liquidity as possible, as I mentioned earlier. Right, they're looking to stop out other people so that they can take their position before it reverses and have a larger position size before the move happens. Right, they can see way more in the market than we can. Life ain't fair. Beyond is just I can't touch the stock because look at the overall trend. We're also at all-time lows here, basically. Right, put in an all-time low on March 16th, March 15th, and just consistently goes down. All breakouts fail. Graham, so good question. I actually used to be a swing trader. I never really day traded because I had a full-time job, and I would swing trade. I would take positions about 2 to 3 months out before COVID. Right, so COVID happened here. Right, so like all like 2017, 2018, you know, back to like 2015. I was just a swing trader. and I would take positions 2 to 3 months out. Set my alerts at specific levels, just like I do now, and I would sell, you know, within 3 to 4 weeks. I wouldn't hold it all the way to expiration or near expiration, but I would buy myself a ton of time. Reward wasn't as high, right? Most positions would go to about 20 to 50%, depending on how fast it moved. But I would just take those little profits. But now that I day trade, you know, I'm much more active, and I take much higher risk positions. And I really toned down my my trading. I perfected it, I should say. Yep, they trade off all inside info. Absolutely. Netflix. Yeah, I actually was looking at this. We traded this like a few weeks ago. This wedge worked out perfect, and then we had a double top here. Right, previous resistance turned into a new resistance, and then it acted as a resistance again. But now it's below this support, which I'm not going to touch it. David, I never trade without a plan, ever. Ever. Trading without a plan is how you fall into trading off emotions. If I don't have it charted out with a clear price target, stop loss, and entry point, I'm not touching it. Unless I'm up massive for the week and I could take a small position and risk some profits. That's the only time I would ever do that. Is that interesting? So Art K here, right? Kathy Wood, famous for the huge run up. Previous resistance acted as a support back in 2020, right? Chopping through it, right? Pulled back, moved to the upside, again pulled back down to around 51.85, sitting at it again. Let's take a look at the smaller time frame. You know, pretty decent wedge, but again, it's based off these innovative names. You know, pretty decent wedge. Hold on, let's see shop. We did shop already, right? Like shop, right? This needs to reverse. She can have a big week coming up, right? Zoom, I know she's huge into, which I'm just mind blown that she keeps buying this. I just don't understand it. Right? I mean, that's a terrible chart. I don't know what she's thinking. Yeah, support and resistance absolutely works on ETFs for sure. If a stock's setting up intraday wedge, yeah, if I make a plan, I absolutely would trade it. For sure, but I always have a plan before entering a position, meaning, right, I can chart it intraday for sure. It doesn't need to be the night before. If I'm trading, like I tend to take a lot of trades around like 132 or 230, but I always plan the trade before I enter. Right, I wanna not have to think when price is moving, right? Because that's how you start to use emotions, and once you start to use emotions is when you'll lose all your money. How do you suggest small traders take alerts before charting? Chart every setup. I do it. If I do it, and I know C-Blast does it, right? We chart everything every single night, right? So we have everything charted out already. We know where the levels are, support and resistances, which is why trading is easy for us, right? Plan the trade, trade the plan, make sure you know what's going on in the market. Do your homework, right? If you don't look at the charts and know where the support and resistances are, you're not going to make money. It's as simple as that. And you're not going to make the best trades. Just like any other industry, you need to do your homework. So have everything charted. Anything we alert, we typically, give a warning beforehand. Like if I'm looking at a position right at open, I always say I'm watching Tesla over this level, and I always post a chart. Post charts 24/7, all day long, every week. And I post flow as well. Have I made more money before or after COVID? After, for sure. Because I'm trading more now. I was just swing trading, looking for small profits as a side income. Now it's a full-time gig. Yeah, no Friday this week, so premiums are gonna burn quicker this week. So Wednesday is not going to be a typical Wednesday, in my opinion. Of course, I have a goal. I have a weekly goal for sure, but it's based on your account size. Everyone should have a weekly goal. If you're still here and haven't liked the video, please drop a like. I've been trading for 9 years. C-Blast has been trading, I think, since 2013. Oh, I think 2013, maybe 2010. I don't remember correctly. What other questions you guys got? That is completely up to you if you take the alert or not. Completely up to you. All right, we post the trades we take. It's as simple as that. If I'm taking a position, I'm gonna post it. If the price didn't move quick enough. How long did it take me to be profitable? I think about 2 to 3 years. Took me. Right, the first 2 or 3 years, I would go back and forth. I would be profitable by a mile, and then I would lose it all because I wasn't working on fixing my mistakes. And I would constantly trade too much, and I would constantly trade based on emotions. Have I ever thought of a different, less stressful business? No, personally, it's not stressful at all. I don't trade on emotion. I have proper risk management. I size correctly, and I do my homework. So this is not stressful at all, and I have as much freedom as I want, and I can make as much money as I want. It's the best industry. It's the best business in the world. I use Webull. From New York City. Yeah, I've done like 20 one-on-one sessions in the last like 2 weeks, and everyone that's done a one-on-one so far has sent me a screenshot within the next few days of them making profits, right? Making thousands of dollars. So, invest in yourself. Book me for a one-on-one, and I'll gladly help you. Yeah, I got a Rari. And my $2,000 challenge, I'm trading it as if I have only $2,000 to my name. I'm going to trade the highest of the highest probability setups. So, you know, all I'm going to be taking is a few trades per month on that account. I'm really going to try and grow it very slowly and consistently. Right? I'm not going to rush into a trade. I actually quit a bunch of times trading in the beginning. I blew up my account so many times. So when I first started, I started with 150 bucks, turned it into 1,000, turned it into 5,000. I kept going up. I felt invincible. Every single time I would just put my entire account on one trade and hope for the best. It was ridiculous to think about now. And I ended up just losing it all. Right, I blew my account, lost like 50K. And then that was like, I stopped trading for like 2-3 months, and I was like, you know what, this is the worst thing I've ever done in my life. It was like gambling. It was gambling. And then, you know, I started up again after teaching myself again. I tried not to make the same mistakes, and I did it again. Right, I went back to like 40-50,000, and I blew it again because greed killed me. And then I stopped again for a few months, tried to, you know, read more, learn more, and then, you know, I finally stopped making those same mistakes. I went way more on the bull side for sure. Yeah, a bunch of people in here did the one-on-ones. No, it doesn't come with the subscription. It's completely separate. So originally I journaled my trades just by writing them down on paper. It's definitely not fun at all. But no one ever said this is fun. I wrote down every trade, why I took it, what went wrong or what went right. I did that for like a year and a half, 2 years, and then I was sick of writing it down, so I stopped. But it definitely helped. Definitely write down your trades if you're having trouble trading. These are good questions you guys are asking. And there's not one specific strategy, guys. So, you know, everyone has a different strategy, which can definitely get confusing, right? If you're watching YouTube videos, everyone has a different opinion. Everyone has a different trading strategy, right? Some people trade off EMAs, some people trade off Bollinger Bands or VWAPs or Elliott Wave Theory or Fibonacci, right? There's so many different ways to trade, and they all could work. So, you know, find what you understand best, and, you know, take that and run with that. Price action for me is the best. I trade specific patterns. Falling wedge and bull flags are my favorite patterns. I linked a couple books and videos in the market resources section. Seen a lot about VU. I don't even know what that is, honestly. Culture. So good question. So yeah, I do live off my profits. I actually aim, so in the beginning of the year, I try and trade much more safe, and I try and have a higher consistency or a better consistency, right? Obviously I want to do that all year long, but in the beginning of the year I really focus on slowly growing my account, right? That way I could take out my profits and be risk-free. Right, so in the first 2 or 3 months of the year, I actually made enough to cover my yearly expenses. I do that every single year. And I withdraw it, and then I have enough money. Right, I have enough money and then some to cover my expenses for the entire year. That way I don't have that on my mind. How did I educate myself? Just doing it myself, right? No one's gonna do it for you. The only competition is yourself here, right? You're not competing versus anyone else. It's you versus you. So, you know, don't blame anyone else for failure. The only one that you know, is responsible for you is you. Raphael goes, private question, and then asked it. That is a private question for sure. Any cool hobbies? The gym. Definitely, I'm a big gym guy. You're struggling to stay in a winning trade. You don't want to give back profits and scalp 50 and then wait for another 300. You gotta plan the trade and trade the plan. Play the setup. Don't use percentage stop losses and price targets. Use support and resistance stop losses and price targets. Most important thing that took my trading to the next level is patience, for sure. Patience and sizing correctly and just playing the chart. How many contracts do I usually run? That's totally up to, you know, your account value. How do I get health insurance? I pay for it. Yeah, I did go to college, actually. I did 4 years in college. I was a business major. And I had a full-time job. I did commercial real estate. How much can I squat? Like 285, 300. Nothing too special, but you know, better than the average person, I guess. Yeah, hit that like button. Yep. Trading is a great idea. I actually studied business with a focus in entrepreneurship. Right, I wanted to start something myself. I don't want to have anyone telling me what to do. This is the perfect business for me and you guys as well. Right? I don't have anyone telling me what to do. If I want to go on vacation, I go on vacation. If I want to not work for a month, I don't have to work. The beautiful thing about trading is all you need is a laptop or a phone. I can go across the country and trade on my phone. I've always traded options. Yep. Did I cover support, resistance, and price? Yeah, I cover anything you want in one-on-one. Right? Ask the people that have done it before. I should probably make like a review tab. I'll make a review tab so people that do one-on-ones can leave a review. Yeah, I trade as an S corp actually. I don't do my own taxes. No way. Have someone do that for me. When do I plan to retire? Not for a long time. I like what I do. It's fun. And I just want to keep making more and more money. Who doesn't want to keep making more and more money? Right? I want to expand everything, buy more real estate, travel, right? All the above. Been streaming for a while. I've answered a ton of questions. Hopefully this is like helpful to you guys. If it is, drop a like. I've answered like 1 million questions, but I like answering these questions. I like answering these questions way more than covering charts and stuff. One-on-one, yeah, I mean I can cover anything. Literally anything. support, resistance, fibs, Elliott wave theory, risk management, position sizing, unusual options activity. I can cover your trades and what you could have done better. You could share your screen and chart with me there, and I could tell you, you know, what to do better, what not to do, what to do, anything. I don't trade naked calls or puts. The only investments I do is right, I buy commons and real estate. Yeah, find someone to be like a mentor to you. That's for everyone here, right? Try and find someone. You can use me, right? Learn from the mistakes I made and take everything with a grain of salt, right? As always, right? You never want to trust someone 100%, including me, right? But just piece everything together, right? Learn from multiple people, from one person, but obviously take it with a grain of salt, and develop your own strategy and what works best for you, right? Everyone starts in a different spot. Everyone has a different risk tolerance. Everyone has, you know, a different job, different work life, whatever it may be. So you gotta, you know, develop a strategy that works best for you. All right, I'm super transparent. I post like, I sit here every single month, every single week with you guys, and, you know, just talk. Culture. So, you know, I did the same thing. I blew a bunch of accounts as well. Just learn from your mistakes and don't get greedy. Once you start getting greedy and you start wanting more profits is when, you know, it all goes to hell. Appreciate you, David. Thank you very much. Yeah, Elliott wave theory I can cover pretty quickly. And I tend to, you know, give people like some homework after a session. Why don't I do a meetup? I mean, I could. I think Seablast and I are gonna do it. He's coming to New York. We have some things coming soon that we'll probably announce. Martin, sure. I generally answer every single DM. Like, if someone messages me like hi, I'm not gonna answer. But if you ask me a question, I'll probably answer. Yeah. Play some new songs. Now that we're just chilling, we kind of covered everything that I wanted to cover, every single chart. Let's see. Actually, I'm pretty hungry. Probably gonna go get food. Beautiful thing of trading. I could work whenever I want. Alright guys, I think on that note, I'm going to end it here. If you haven't already done so, please drop a like on the video. Definitely helps. But yeah, Seablast and I are thinking about doing a meetup. And if you want to do a one-on-one, the link is in my Twitter bio. Or it's in this bio here, actually. Do I have a mentorship program? I mean, you know, it's kind of just a Discord. It's kind of like a mentorship program, honestly. I answer every single person's question that asks me a question. But if you want just a one-on-one, more in depth, I can actually help you personally, right? You could share some more private stuff as opposed to being in the Discord group and everything's public. You know, that's definitely, I could definitely help you there. You could be a little bit more personal. But on that note, let's have a good week. Everyone get some sleep, and let's kill it. Have a good one, guys.